I just wanted to have you saying that you give me permission to record this. It'll be about 20 minutes long. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, perfect. I just had to make sure I got that on tape. Um,
Yeah.
okay. So this interview is with my uncle, Rick Javier. He is the brother of my father. And Uncle Ricky, if you could just say your name and your age real quick.
Sure, Rick Javier, age 64.
64. Okay, perfect. So, I already went over briefly my interview guide with you. I'll just go over it again. The first topic is about your childhood. The second is about baseball, because that is something that you and me share in common. And the third is about DJing, and then we'll close. So, to jump right into this, I wanted to ask Uncle Ricky, what were some of your earliest memories of growing up in Scottsdale?
Just going to the park, flying a kite with my dad. I worked on my cars. I used to shine them all the time. And playing catch with my brothers.
Baseball catch?
Yeah.
Nice. What else?
In Scottsdale, when we used to play in the backyard, we'd miss a catch and the ball would hit the fence, and my dad would start yelling at us.
What would he say?
And I don't know, it's just like, you kids stop it or something.
You be careful.
Mm-hmm. Take a fall.
Be careful. You got anything else?
Riding my bike. I rode a bike a lot.
Where would you ride it?
To the park and around Scottsdale.
Oh, very cool.
Rode around to Phoenix too.
How far was that? Was that a far ride?
Yeah, it was about 50 miles.
Man. Okay, well, thank you. Those are some good memories. Aunt Concy told me that you guys were the only Filipino family in town, and the only family of color for a few years. What were your thoughts on being the only family of color in Scottsdale growing up?
That was fine. I didn't have any problems with it at all.
Oh, okay, I see.
Right. Well, you used to play baseball harder, better than most kids and stuff like that. We had plenty of friends growing up.
And you never felt like you were treated differently?
No, not at all.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Do you feel maybe, did you feel that led to you having a different view of people of color being the only family in town?
No. Actually, we were treated pretty good, fairly. Had plenty of friends and everything. Never felt like racially different than anybody else. That was about it.
Okay. That's good. That's good that they they especially back then they didn't treat you guys any different, and especially that's good to adding to a self-image of a kid growing up. So now to kind of transition, I wanted to hear a funny story that stands out the most when you think of your childhood home?
I've been playing catch mostly in the backyard. We used to go to the park, El Dorado Park. It's only like 5 minutes from our house. We used to go watch the Chicago Cubs farm team play there all the time. And we used to ride our bikes in the park, and when the Christmas trees were, off season, they used to build forts in the park and stuff like that, and ride around and just play in the park.
So some of them, I am recounting, or just from what I'm hearing, it's that the park was a pretty big memory in your town, and you said it was El Dorado Park?
Yeah.
Would you say you
just
went
down the street a block away?
Oh, okay. And would you say you went like every day?
Yeah, pretty much. That's where we played our senior league team, the Pilots. I was on the Pilots team.
For baseball?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Very cool. Okay, perfect. Well, I know you had a hard relationship with your dad, and that you lost your mom early. How do you feel both of those relationships affected you?
Well, I don't know. Mom was a playground teacher, and she was always, there to help us all the time. Dad was a little distant, of course. I remember I had him sign us up for Indian guides, but he didn't show up. Mom was always with us, though.
She was the caretaker.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, and she was a scout leader too. Cub Scouts.
Your mom was?
Mhm.
So how do you think
And,
having a relationship like that with your mom affected you? What did it make you feel?
well, no, he felt good all the time. I didn't have any problems with friends and stuff in the neighborhood at all.
And your dad? About how that might have affected you, his distance?
I don't know. He used to watch wrestling on TV and stuff like that, and really get emotional about it. And my friends used to come over and watch him and laugh and stuff like that. We used to laugh at him. And he was kind of hard to understand, though.
In what way?
I don't know. He used to, the way he just pronounced words and stuff like that.
Oh.
Like, be careful with Baker Fall.
Yeah.
Things like that. And my friend would just get, I don't know, my friend John Gannon, he used to come over and watch my dad act up and stuff like that. I don't know why he liked it.
Maybe do you think maybe because he just, being a white family in a white area, just never seen anybody of a different culture?
Yeah, I think so. But we weren't treated any different than anybody else, so
Yeah.
I didn't feel like we were any different
That's
than
good.
anybody else. I never felt anything racially.
That's good. That's really good. Okay. Well, Do you have anything else you want to add about the relationships with either your mom or your dad?
Mm. I feel like Mom was always with us all the time. You know, like we have at grade school, like birthdays, and bring cupcakes to the class when it was our birthday. And his dad was kind of, I don't know, he was just kind of a little distant from, but Dad used to drink a little bit, but that was about it.
Did you see it bring out a bad side in him when he would drink?
Yeah, he used to hit us sometimes.
Really?
He'd get really mad at us.
Man. Yeah, I've heard a couple of stories from my dad. But that's just I know it probably affected because I know it affected Aunt Concy differently than it did Dad, and I didn't really know Uncle Mel, but I'm sure it had to have affected you differently too. Okay, well, let's make a transition. I know you and my father were the athletes of the family, and Dad always told me all these stories of you playing third base, which was one of my favorite positions in baseball. So when you think back to playing baseball, what are some of the fond memories that you can share about you loving the game?
Hitting the baseball, I hit pretty good. I can hit it out to right field over the right fielder's head all the time and stuff like that. And I could catch pretty good too. I used to pick off people off the third base all the time, and I catch it 10-40.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
I
awesome.
used to pick guys off third all the time.
Let you just backpick them?
What's that?
You'd backpick them or you'd throw them out coming into third?
No, just back pick them.
Nice. Was catcher your number one position?
No, I was a third baseman.
Oh.
But Tim was my catcher, and I just say, hey, Jim, in between innings, I go throw it down to me or something like that, and he took off guys off third all the time.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you got a story you can share about a time you got a good play?
A good what?
A good play at third base?
Well, there's one black guy named Ronnie Bonner or something like that. He was a black kid. He was pretty good, but he got upset and spiked me coming in the third.
Oh man.
He tried to pick a fight with me, but I didn't play into it, so he didn't fight me.
Why didn't you play into it?
Well, because I didn't want to pick a fight. I just wasn't that type of guy.
Yeah.
But he kicked, his spikes into me, but I didn't play into it.
That's good. It's all about just playing the game.
Yeah. But I know it was a long throw over there. It was a hard throw, but I made it pretty much.
Did you have a strong arm?
Yeah.
Nice. Did you have a stronger arm than Dad?
What?
Did you have a stronger arm than my dad?
No.
No?
He was an outfielder, so he had a pretty strong arm.
Oh. Were you taller than Dad?
What's What's that?
Were you taller than Dad?
No, not at all. About the same size.
Okay. Okay. What was your favorite memory of you playing the game? If you remember your biggest game accomplishment, what would it be?
I remember when I was in Major Leagues, my mom used to come out and watch us, and I'd hit the ball and I'd hit the fence or something like that. It was fun.
So,
And I pitched a lot too. I pitched the ball.
oh really? You're a pitcher?
Yeah, yeah.
Nice. That was my favorite position too.
But I was kind of wild though. So.
Really? Were the guys scared of you?
Yeah, I hit a couple people.
That's funny. So you'd say your biggest accomplishment was hitting the ball off the fence when your mom came to watch?
Yeah.
That's awesome, Uncle Ricky. So I know that my dad developed a love for the Giants because he spent probably the majority of his life in California. But what would you say is your favorite team and why?
Probably the Angels was my favorite team because they were there in Anaheim where I used to live.
Oh yeah? When was this?
Yeah, and a couple of players came in at Bob McGee's where I used to work. So they just shake their hands and welcome them. It was kind of neat.
When was this?
This is when I was DJing.
Do you remember what year?
No, it was in the 80s, so.
Okay. Sometime in the 80s.
Yeah.
And that was at Bobby McGee's. Were you DJing there?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, and that is a perfect transition to the third topic, which is DJing. And being a DJ really seems to be a Javier family profession, which is pretty cool if you ask me. And I was always curious to hear about why you chose to work the same job as my dad, and also what your experience was like working with him and on your own. So why did you choose to DJ?
Because I moved up from waiter. I started out as a busboy with the company, and I moved up to waiter. And then I just liked the music and stuff like that, and I figured I could do that, so I did. I went into training, and they moved me to Hawaii, so I lived in Hawaii for 5 years, DJing for Bob and McGee's.
Wow, Hawaii?
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, and that's what was your favorite memory of DJing in Hawaii?
I used to, like, on my days off, I drive around the island. It'd take me about 2 hours. I'd drive, it was a big circle on the highway from my home.
Yeah.
But it was good weather and stuff like that. Just enjoying. I had a pretty good car. I had a Celica.
A Celica?
GT. Yeah.
Ooh.
And so I used to just drive around. I had a motorcycle, but I didn't bring it over there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was always my biggest memory of you was the uncle with the motorcycle.
Yeah. My best memories was driving to Milwaukee for the 100th anniversary at Harley Davidson.
Really?
And they had a big concert with Elton John, and the Doobie Brothers were there.
What? And you drove all the way from where? California?
From Arizona.
Oh, from Arizona to Milwaukee on your motorcycle?
Yeah.
Wow. What was that like?
Well, that was pretty neat. I remember one time it was lightning, and we could see the lightning hitting the ground, you know, miles in front of us. It was kind of weird.
Kind of scary?
Yeah, scary too.
Oh, crap.
But I didn't have too many problems, so.
That's good. So, back to Hawaii, or back to DJing. How did the opportunity for you to go to Hawaii even come up?
Well, I guess after I got out of training, they just started placing us and said, "Well, I'm going to be sending you to Hawaii," and I go, "Really?" So I was like pretty nervous about it, of course. And they moved my car over there and everything, so that was kind of neat.
Wow.
Oh, and then I met my dad over when he came over. He went to the Philippines, and Hawaii was one of the stops from the Philippine islands to the United States, and I met him at the airport. Went aboard plane and met up with him. I think one of my biggest memories of DJing with Nick was he was really good. I thought he was the best DJ I've ever seen, too.
That's cool. I think the same thing. What was your favorite memory of working with him?
I think that time, the New Year's Eve party, when it came up to midnight, we didn't have Old Lang Syne, the song.
Mm-hmm.
And so when he left the company, he gave me as a present that record. But he was always really good, though.
He just had a knack for it, huh?
Yeah.
How long did you guys work together?
I think a couple years. We opened a nightclub in the Marriott Hotel in Anaheim.
That's awesome. So, who was the one who trained you to be a DJ, and what was the biggest takeaway that led you to want to do it as a profession?
When I used to wait tables, I used to go stare at the people dancing and stuff like that. And I knew I could do that, and I just was just moving up in the company.
Mm-hmm.
What am I going to do next with the company?
Who trained you?
This guy named Scott Hagmeyer. He was one of my trainers, and Bob Williams.
Bob Williams?
Nick's friends and stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah, I met him. He's a cool guy.
Yeah.
That's cool, Uncle Ricky. Well, it's been a while since all of this, and from what I know about you, these were the things that stood out the most to me. What is something about you that was a big part of your life that I may not know about you?
I don't know. I love my cars, and my special thing.
Your what? What was that last part?
I used to shine them like almost every day, you know, wash them off.
Why is that?
I don't know, I just like to keep them clean, looking good. Ride motorcycles was really cool with my Harley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Uncle Ricky, is there anything else that I may have missed that you wanted to share with me for my interview?
Let me see. Oh, when we played baseball,
What's
I
that?
started out as a freshman in high school. Nick was he was a senior at that time. So we used to, the coaches already knew the Javier name in baseball and just kind of, took it for granted. I'd be good, so.
Really?
Yeah.
Because he knew Dad?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
The coaches did, yeah.
Did Uncle Mel play?
No, he was a runner. He was in track.
Oh, yeah, huh?
Yeah, he like running miles. He was a cross country guy.
Wow.
For fun, he'd go run five miles or something around town or something.
That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite memory of Uncle Mel?
I taught him how to ride a bicycle.
You did?
Yeah.
And he was older than you, right?
Mhm. But I could ride a bike. I used to take Nick's bike. He had a big two-wheeler, and I just prop it up against a tree because it was bigger than I was, and I had to climb up the tree and then get on the bike and then push off the tree, and then got me going.
That's awesome.
I trained Concy too.
Really?
How to ride a bike. Yeah.
Did Dad train you how to ride it?
No.
You just taught yourself?
Mhm.
Really? You've always been very bicyclically inclined, then.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, Uncle Ricky. Well, thank you so much for spending this time with me in this interview. I appreciate it. And I know it'll be appreciated by everyone that gets to hear it about my paper. So, thank you.
Oh, sure. Anytime.